everybody, I'm Rebecca here at Y Mermaids, and I decided today to tell you all about the books that I have received from Netgalley. Now, for those of you who don't know, Netgalley is kind of an online ebook website, I guess you could say, where you can get advanced reader copies of books if you are an educator or a librarian, or if you have, if you're a reviewer, or different people, or a bookseller, things like that. You can get online e-copies of ARCs rather than the physical ARCs. I signed up for this years ago as an educator and just kind of started within the past month or two really actually using it and getting into it. So I thought that I would share with you today some of the books that I've received from Netgalley to read and review. So these will be coming up on my channel as I get through them. Some of these have already been published, some of them have not. So it's kind of a nice mix, but let's get into it. The first book is A Whole New World. It's also a Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell, and this book comes out on September 1st. And basically, it is an Aladdin retelling. If Aladdin had never found the lamp and it had gone instead to Jafar, well, now Jafar has 2 wishes already used, and he's this evil sorcerer, and Aladdin and Jasmine kind of have to step up against them in this weird kind of dystopian version of Aladdin, which sounds super exciting, and I can't wait to read it. The next one is The Fade Out Volume 1 by Ed Brubaker. This is a graphic novel, and it is already out. It came out on March 10th. Basically, it's an epic noir that was set in Hollywood at the end of the golden era, and so I love Hollywood stories and I love noirs, so I'm really excited to read this one, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I really want to. The bad thing about getting digital ARCs, digital copies of graphic novels, is that it's kind of harder to read because it's not a graphic novel, and they won't send it, you can't send it to Kindle. So you have to actually read it on the computer, and that's kind of been the only thing that's stopping me from doing that. The next one is The Novice, which is the first book in the Summoner series, and this is by Taryn Matharu, I'm sorry. And this book came out May 5th. Basically, this guy Fletcher can summon demons, so he's sent to the school of other people who can do similar things in order to learn how to be a summoner, but of course, things are lurking evil beneath there, and he kind of has to figure out what's right and what's wrong and all of that. Next up is Spelled by Betsy Scho, or Betsy Sco. This comes out June 2nd. It's basically a Wizard of Oz retelling, but instead of Dorothy coming from Kansas to Oz, it's Dorothea coming from Oz into Kansas. So it's kind of an interesting switch on the story of Wizard of Oz. Next up is The Witch Hunter by Virginia Boker. And this comes out June 2nd. This is basically, there's a witch hunter who's accused of witchcraft. So this big, giant, evil, most powerful witch of ever decides to save her in exchange for she needs to help him lift the curse that he has been afflicted by, basically. I also received Half Bad, the first book in the Half Bad trilogy. Now, this book came out last year on March 27th of 2014, so a lot of people have already read it, but I have not read it, and I was able to receive it from Netgalley, so I decided to go ahead and do that. And basically, for those of you who don't know, Nathan is this guy who is kind of living in this world where witches are really powerful. He has to escape and then hunt down his these three items that will bring him into his magical powers, but he can't really trust anybody, and everybody's kind of watching him, so will he be able to do it? I don't know, I haven't read it yet. The next one is The Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy by Sam Meggs. This one just came out in May, on May 12th, and it's basically just a handbook for geeky girls in a male-dominated world of geekiness, and it sounds amazing, and I love it. I also got From a Distant Star by Karen McQuestion. This book came out on May 19th, last week, and it's basically this girl, Karen, her boyfriend miraculously survives from the brink of death, but there's some evil government something going on there, and he doesn't seem quite the same, so she and her boyfriend are kind of on the run from these governmental agents, and there might be some sort of something UFO-y kind of in there, but I don't really know. I'm just kind of guessing based on the description. I got Material Girls by Elaine Demopoulos, and this came out on May 5th, and it's a future world or another world where teens are the gatekeepers of culture, and it's these two girls. One of them is a fashion designer, one of them is like a pop star who wears that fashion, and they kind of are decide that they want to go against this like monopolizing, controlling consumerism of the world, and they're gonna do like eco-friendly products instead. I don't know, it sounds like it could be really bad, but it also sounds like it could be really good at the same time, so I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna be. I also got Those Girls by Lauren Saft, and this comes out June 9th. Basically, it's a high school best friend story of girls, so it's 3 best friends who are like the best of friends, everybody looks up to them, they're the party girls, but they each have something that they're hiding from the other ones, and so it could either bring them together or it could tear them massively apart. So it just sounds like a fun little contemporary, like Mean Girls type thing, and who doesn't like the Mean Girl stories? I also got Spinning Starlight by R.C. Lewis. This book comes out October 6th, and this is the same author and the same kind of retellings as the Stitching Snow book, which was a retelling of Snow White. Well, this is a retelling of The Wild Swans. So basically, Liddy is our main character, and all this stuff happens to her, so she has to travel to other worlds to basically save her captive brothers who have been captured, and all this stuff happens. She can't speak, because if she speaks, then he'll die. So yeah, it could be interesting. I decided to get a more adult pick here, and that is Among the Thousand Things by Julie Pierpont. This comes out July 7th, and it's basically this couple's, the wife has been kind of overlooking her husband's kind of faults for a little while, but then there's a mysterious package that's sent to her, but her kids intercept it, and then everything kind of gets torn apart a little bit, because it gives all this information about their dad that they probably weren't supposed to know. It sounds like it's very modern adult fiction, but it just sounds like really something could be really interesting, and the description, the blurb, it just sounded really good. And it's compared to Jonathan Franzen, and so he's a really great writer right now, and so I decided to give it a go. I also got Everything by Nicola Yoon. This comes out on September 1st, and basically it is a girl who is literally allergic to the outside world, but when a new family comes in next to her, she falls in love, and then it kind of questions everything she's ever known because she can't even go outside. So her world is like very, very, very teeny, but now it's kind of being expanded a little bit more, and it just sounds really cute and fun and different. And finally, the last book I got is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. This book comes out on June 16th. It basically kind of sounds like this weird God goes missing, girl has to create a new god kind of situation, using the knowledge from this expansive library that God or Father has taught her with and other people, but in the process she starts to forget about her human side, and so it just sounds really interesting and different, and it's gotten really good blurbs so far, so I'm really excited to give it a shot. That is it right now for my current Netgalley art giveaway to me thing collection. It's a collection, I guess you could say. They're all ebooks, so again, I don't have physical books to show you, but I am excited about a lot of these. Like, they all sound really, 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 like, awesome, and I mean, who doesn't love, like, free books, right? So let me know if you've read any of these, or if you are planning to read any of these, or which ones kind of sound the most interesting to you. And I guess that's it for me today, and I will see you next time. Bye!